September 15th, 2019. The FBI closed the case of the Blackwood family disappearance in rural Oregon with a single word stamped across the file: resolved. But Detective Sarah Chen, who worked the case, still can't sleep at night. Last month, her interview was recorded. She showed something that had never been revealed to the public: the audio recordings from inside the house. It started when the Martinez family bought 4,772 Pinecrest Road in Blackwood County, Oregon. The house had been empty for 3 years. The realtor never mentioned why. On their first night, Angela Martinez, a nurse from Portland, found an old cassette recorder in the attic. There were 7 tapes, each labeled with dates from 2016. Being curious, she pressed play on the first one. The voice on the tape was a man's, calm, almost clinical. Day 1, we've started hearing it. A humming sound from the walls. Emily thinks it's the pipes. I know better. Houses don't hum. Not like this. Not with rhythm. Angela should have stopped listening. She didn't. The second tape was dated a week later. The man's voice sounded tired this time. Strained. Day 8. The humming has words now. We can't understand them, but they're there. Emily covered her ears during dinner and started crying. She said the words are inside her head. Our daughter is 7 years old. 7-year-olds don't imagine things like this. Angela's husband, David, told her to throw the tapes away. But that night, she heard it too. A low humming from inside the bedroom walls. She placed her palm against the wallpaper. The humming stopped. Then something pressed back from the other side. She called Detective Chen the next morning. Chen drove 3 hours from Portland, skeptical. She'd dealt with spooked homeowners before. But when she stepped into that house, she felt it too. Something wrong in the air. Like the pressure before a storm. Chen found the remaining tapes. She sat down in the living room, inserted the second tape, and pressed play. Day 14. I opened the wall in Emily's room. There's a space behind it, a gap between the outer and inner walls, about 2 feet wide. It runs the entire length of the house. The man on the tape stopped talking for a moment. Chen could hear his breathing, heavy, frightened. There are scratches in there, on the inside of both walls. Someone was trapped in there. Someone tried to claw their way out from both sides. Another long silence. How is that possible? Detective Chen played the tapes in sequence. The man's voice, later identified as Robert Blackwood, the previous owner, grew increasingly panicked with each recording. Day 17. We've stopped sleeping. The humming never stops now. It's loudest at 3 a.m., always 3 a.m. Emily stands at her bedroom wall and whispers back to it. When I ask her what she's saying, she just smiles. That's not my daughter's smile. Angela listened to this in Chen's presence. Her face went pale, because her own daughter Mia had been doing the same thing, standing at the wall, whispering, smiling that wrong smile. Chen moved to the next tape. Her hand was shaking now. Day 19. Emily's gone. We put her to bed, and when we checked on her an hour later, the bed was empty. But we can hear her. She's giggling. Inside the walls, we can hear her moving through them, but there's no way. The gap is too narrow. We've torn apart the drywall in 3 rooms. Nothing. Just that empty space, and the scratches. Always the scratches. That night, Angela's daughter Mia didn't come down for breakfast. They found her room empty, but they could hear her singing. A nursery rhyme, echoing from somewhere inside the walls. David grabbed a sledgehammer from the garage. Chen tried to stop him. She called for backup. They were 40 minutes away. David swung at the bedroom wall. Plaster exploded outward. Behind it, that narrow gap between walls. Empty. But Mia's voice was clearer now, coming from deeper in the house, toward the basement. They followed the sound. The humming grew louder. Now, a chorus. Multiple voices, overlapping. Children's voices, humming together. Chen remembered the final tape was still in the recorder upstairs. She ran back up, grabbed it. Her fingers fumbled with the cassette. She pressed play. Day 23. I found the door. Jesus Christ, I found where it leads. Robert Blackwood's voice was barely a whisper now. The gap in the walls, it's not just empty space. It connects to something underneath the house, a room. No, a hallway. A hallway that shouldn't exist. The blueprint doesn't show it. Chen heard paper rustling on the tape. Footsteps, a door creaking. I can see lights down there, movement. Emily's down there with them, with the others. I'm going in. If you're hearing this, don't come looking. Don't buy this house. Burn it to the ground. Static, then screaming. Not just Robert's voice. Multiple voices, screaming together. Then nothing. Chen grabbed Angela and David, pulled them toward the front door. The door wouldn't open. The lock wouldn't turn. David threw his shoulder against it. Nothing. Chen ran to the window, picked up a chair, swung it at the glass. The chair bounced off. The glass didn't even crack. The humming surrounded them now, a vibration in their bones, in their teeth, in their skulls. Maya's voice called out from the basement. Sweet, innocent. Mommy, I made new friends. They live in the walls. They've always lived here. They're so lonely, Mommy. So lonely. They just want us to stay. To live in the walls with them, forever. David ran. Chen followed. Down the basement stairs. The humming was deafening now. There, behind the old furnace, was a gap in the foundation. Just wide enough for a child. A chemical smell wafted out. Not decay. Something else. Something wrong. Chen's flashlight beam caught something inside the gap. Pale fingers. Too many of them. Small fingers. Children's fingers. Reaching out. Beckoning. David lunged forward. Chen grabbed his arm. But he was stronger. Desperate. He tore free from her grip, dropped to his knees, and crawled into that gap, calling his daughter's name. Mia, Mia, Daddy's coming. His voice echoed in that impossible space. Chen aimed her flashlight into the darkness. She saw David's legs disappearing into the gap. Then she saw them, dozens of small faces in the darkness beyond. Pale, eyes too wide, mouths open, all humming. The humming stopped. The silence was worse. Chen screamed David's name. No response. She grabbed his ankle, pulled. His shoe came off in her hand. His leg was gone. All of him was gone. The gap in the foundation was empty now. Just darkness. Then, from deep within that impossible space, she heard Mia's voice one last time. Thank you for bringing Daddy. Now we have a new friend. Don't worry, Mommy's next. The basement lights went out. Chen's flashlight flickered. Died. In the darkness, she heard movement. Small feet, running through the walls, all around her, above her, below her. She ran for the stairs, tripped, fell. Her head struck concrete. Everything went black. When backup finally arrived, they found Chen unconscious outside the house. Somehow, she'd made it out. She doesn't remember how. Angela was inside, sitting in the corner of the kitchen, rocking back and forth, staring at the wall. She hasn't spoken since. David and Mia were gone. The FBI brought in specialists, structural engineers, psychologists. They examined every inch of that house, found nothing unusual. No gaps in the walls, no scratches, no impossible hallway beneath the foundation. Official report, gas leak, hallucinogenic exposure, family relocated, case closed. The house was sealed for 6 months, then quietly put back on the market. But Chen knows the truth. Last month, when I interviewed her, she gave me something, a photograph, taken by the forensic team in the basement. Before the FBI classified everything, it shows that gap in the foundation, and if you look carefully, in the darkness beyond, you can see them. Dozens of pale, small faces, children, staring back at the camera, their mouths open, humming. The house at 4772 Pinecrest Road is for sale again. New listing, new price, reduced twice in the last month. The pictures online show a beautiful renovated interior, fresh paint, new walls. If you watch the virtual tour video carefully, in the background, you can hear it. A faint humming, with rhythm. Last week, a young couple made an offer. They have a 6-year-old daughter. The closing is scheduled for next Tuesday. Detective Chen tried to warn them. They hung up on her, called her crazy. She sits in her apartment now, waiting for the call that always comes. 3 to 4 weeks after a new family moves in. She still has Robert Blackwood's tapes, all 7 of them. Sometimes, late at night, she plays them, listening for something she missed, some clue, some way to save the next family. But there's never anything new. Just that voice, getting more desperate, more afraid. Until it stops. She started having dreams. In the dreams, she's in that house again, walking through the walls, in that narrow gap between realities. And all around her, children are humming, waiting, always waiting, for the next family, the next daughter, the next friend. She wakes up at 3 a.m. every night now, and for just a moment, before she's fully awake, she can hear them, humming, in her walls. This is a true story. The names have been changed, the location has been obscured, but the house is real, and it's waiting, always waiting. If you ever find yourself looking at houses in rural Oregon, and you see a beautiful home, recently renovated, priced too good to be true, do yourself a favor. Ask about the previous owners, ask why it's been empty. And if the realtor hesitates, even for a second, walk away. Because some houses aren't meant to be lived in. They're meant to live in you. Can you hear it? The humming. It's starting again. End.